Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is the report for April 11th, and we're going to really concentrate on largemouth bass once again. There are stripers in the system, and the guys that are going out after striper are catching fish. And I'm just going to leave it at that. There's just not a whole lot of interest in the stripers. It's pre-spawn for largemouth. We've got bass on beds, and things are starting to perk up a little bit. It's all weather dependent, so we're going to concentrate on largemouth. We'll get right into that. There's really no pressing river news, so I'll get right into river conditions, and that is really the key to what's going on out here. Coming into last week, we had 62, 63 degree water temps. Cold front came in and we saw those temperatures, water temps drop down to 56, 57 degrees. The tournaments starting Thursday and Friday through the weekend really felt the brunt of that cold front. They had some very tough fishing conditions. Everything kind of turned around Monday. I was out Monday and maybe I was out Monday and Tuesday. Fishing was tough. Water temps were just starting to creep up. I'm out today. It's Wednesday. Fished a little bit this morning and things started perking up a little bit. I'm seeing 60 to 61 degree temps. You can see the sun's out, and we're going to have good temperature or good warm ambient temperatures here the next couple days. I would suspect that we're going to have water temperatures by the weekend up to about 62, 63 again. The problem is we have another front coming in, and it's all going to be weather dependent. So we're going to really have to look at that weather and adjust to what's going on. River conditions. So water temperature right now, as of Wednesday morning, is about 61, 62 degree temperatures, and you're just going to have to see what's going on this weekend if you're coming out, or next week. I think by next week, once the front comes in, we're going to get some stable weather and things will really start to turn around. Water clarity in the central delta is 4 to 5 feet. The south is still about 2 feet. I haven't got any reports from up north, up around the Sac and Liberty, but I think it's still around 2 feet of visibility. Visibility is not a problem. A lot of the guys that have been doing well in the tournaments have been fishing the stain water in 2 feet of vis, and they're doing very well. So the entire delta is fishable. It's just where you go and what tide you're looking for. And there is no high tide, low tide bite. It's very specific areas that have specific bite windows. There's no real patterns going on, throughout the delta. So let's get into some of the tournaments last week. The Bass and Badges tournament was Thursday and Friday. NorCal was Saturday, and I think BBT was Sunday. I don't know if BBT was Saturday or Sunday, but I know NorCal was Saturday. I was out at the Bass and Badges tournament, and they had pretty good weights at the top, but like every one of these tournaments mirrored what was going on. The top 2 or 3, 4 guys had 20 pounds, 18 to 20 pounds. After that, the field just struggled. I think a 2-day tournament for the Badge and Basses was won with right around 38 pounds or something. I may be wrong there, but they did have a 21-pound bag for their big bag. They caught some really great looking fish out there. I've got some pictures of some of the guys that brought in some of the fish. And just very tough fishing conditions. If you guys didn't check my video out for the Bass and Badges tournament recap, you can check that out, and you can hear what some of those fellas did. NorCal, they had, I think, 38 boats, and 22.59. Christian and Hunter won the tournament with 22.59. The Hunsey brothers had 22.5, and the Rossetti family had 19.9. All really good weights, but after that, boy, I'd have to say, middle of the pack on down, it was 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds. Really tough fishing. I talked to a lot of the guys. There was, some guys caught fish on reaction baits, a lot of punch fish and a lot of worm fish. It was very tough. Sunday, or whenever the BBT was out here, I think they had 86 boats, somewhere in there. I think 21 pounds won that, but boy, I talked to a couple of the guys that fished, and it was just brutal for them. A lot of guys just couldn't find fish. I think there was a ton of guys didn't even weigh in. I think 14 pounds cash to check. and I'll say right around middle of the pack was right around 7-8 pounds, and it was all due to unstable barometer and weather conditions, water temperatures dropping, and the fish, these big largemouth that were sitting in real shallow water, they are very susceptible to water temperature changes and barometer changes. So I'll talk a little bit about that more after we talk to Phil. And I got Phil Lago on, a friend of mine, and we're going to turn the camera on to Phil and let him say a few words. Phil will let you know what he's been seeing. He fished the Badge and Badges tournament, or the Bass and Badges tournament, and he's been getting quite a few reports. So let's listen to what Phil has to say. All right, I'm out here with Phil Lago today, and Phil is one of the regular contributors. You might hear me, mention Phil. I get reports from you almost every week. You're out here a couple times a week. You're a tournament angler. You're a member of the Delta Bass Club.
That's correct.
And I want to thank you for the reports that you send me, because it's guys like you that help formulate plans for a lot of people out here. And I just wanted to get your take on the last week or two. You've been fishing some tournaments. So what have you seen as far as the last week, this week? We've had some unsettled weather come in, and what it's done to the fishing, and what do you think it's going to do here in the next week?
Well, yeah, so with this weather that we've had, it was very challenging, very tough. One day we had a great reaction bite. The other,
and you're talking about just not
right.
You're talking about the last tournament, the Bass and Badges.
So one day we've had a reaction bite, and then the next day it just shut off completely. It was just very slow. We're throwing a lot of drop shots, Sinkos. We threw chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, and just nothing. A couple days before that, we were throwing chatterbaits and spinnerbaits all day and hammering them, and then just this weather comes in and it's cold, and the fish are just, I don't want to eat,
Yeah. So what I'm saying, the Delta is starting to show its potential more, but people hear about winning weights in tournaments, and you guys had a 21-pound bag come in or something?
Yeah, we had 21-pound bag come in a tournament. They did really good. They punched. They got their bigger fish punching. They were somewhere down in the South Delta, somewhere. But anywhere around here, if you can find a good punch bite, and you can find a good topwater bite, and the conditions are there, you're gonna find them. So
all in all, and I try to make sure I talk about this every week. If you were to walk around the parking lot in this last tournament and you talk to the average guys that were out there, what would they say?
They would have, I believe they would have said the same thing with, what I'm saying now is, because you have people that have different styles of fishing, and I try to fish to the conditions, and I believe everybody else does. And that's one of the big key things that I've learned, especially this last year, is you have to fish to the conditions. And if you're not fishing to the conditions and you're throwing a Sinko all day and you're not getting bit, you got to be able to pick up something else and throw it.
Right.
What I learned that some people had a good reaction bite. A really good reaction bite both days, and it was nonstop for them. So they were in a good area, a couple good areas, and they went back the second day. And we did the same thing. We fished our same spots, and it was turning off and turning back on.
No consistency.
No consistency.
Yeah. Even the guys that were catching fish, other than maybe one boat I talked to, a guy had 20 or 25 fish, they were eking out, maybe calling one fish, getting 6, 7, 8 bites a day. So it had been tough. So I just wanted other people to hear what you've been seeing. And
I think with this week it's going to pick up. We have another cold front and a rain coming in, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot bigger fish and a lot more fish coming in.
And more consistency.
More consistency. Yeah. We have the Delta Bass Club tournament this weekend. And we're getting almost 20 boats a tournament now. Our club's getting bigger, but you're going to have more tournaments this weekend as well. Yeah. And I think you're going to see a few big fish. There's a lot of fish up on beds now, and I think in the next couple weeks, there's going to be some big.
Thanks for the report, and all you guys. Now you have a face to put next to the name when you hear me talk about Phil sending me in reports, and you get reports from your bass club guys. So a report from Phil is not just a report from Phil; it's a report from generally a dozen other anglers. So thanks a lot for
glad to be out here. Thank you
for all those reports, and let's get out and see if we can catch one more fish.
Let's do it.
All right. All right, I want to thank Phil for his input, and pretty much mirroring what I was saying before. If you're coming out this week, look for water temperatures hopefully to be fairly steady. And if you're out here on the weekend, we get a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of wind. There's a decent topwater bite going on in the morning. Today I had 7 or 8 fish. What I did notice, most of my fish were males and they were smaller fish. I did lose one big fish that broke off on braided line, and that's my problem. I don't know who else's problem it would be, but that was a little bit maddening. Had one other good-sized blow-up, but the fish just weren't committing. I had probably 15, 18 bites in about an hour and a half of change of light bite in the morning, and I'd say I only hooked about half of those fish, so they're not really committing right now. If you're coming out, I will say that out of all the guys I talked to in tournaments, the subsurface bite was if you're going to try one lure or keep one lure on, it should be a chatterbait. There are some punch fish that are being caught, and I suspect that Christian and Hunter were probably punching. They had that big bag for the NorCal tournament. So there's a punch bite going on. By and large, drop shot and worm fishing has been pretty steady. I know Lorenzo for the NorCal tournament had his big fish, and I think it was somewhere 7-8 pounds somewhere. It was a big fish. He got that one drop shotting. So, keep a drop shot on, a worm, a chatterbait. If we have cloudy conditions or a little bit of wind, keep that topwater bite on at least till about 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's just right now it's gonna be a grind. I fully suspect that the bite right now is on I can guarantee you it's on the upswing, but what it's gonna do this Saturday when that front comes in, who knows? But all in all, the fish are shallow. They're in great shape. You've seen a lot of pictures in the last couple of weeks of the fish that have been coming in. Fish are in great shape, the river's in great shape, and as long as we have steady weather, almost everyone that I talk to out here that's been out here or has any clue on what's going on says all it's going to take is, a week of steady weather, and we just haven't had that. We'll have 2 or 3 days of steady weather, and then, we got these fronts coming in. So with that, there's not much more to say. It is time to get out here, and it just depends on the day that you're out here and what the weather conditions are doing. But, grind it out. You've got a chance to catch at least have a shot at a couple of really nice fish each day. Get on out here, have some fun. Make sure you send a report, whether you catch them or whether you don't catch them. If you get a big one, obviously I want to see a picture of that. But just let me know what you're doing, and I'll be out here next Thursday. We'll see what's going on, and I'll give you a report on how this next front affects the weather or the fishing conditions. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Good luck.